Hello, good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us in day four of Entre-Summit brought to you by Industry Inspire Talks. So, the people who have been joining us for the last 2 days, thank you so much all for joining in and learning heaps of knowledge out of these sessions, which we have organized with successful entrepreneurs from different industries. So today it's day four, and we are going to have a session on building your own startup in the e-commerce space, in building your own e-commerce startup. And today, our guest for today's session is Tejas Sati sir, who is here with us. And talking a bit about Tejas Sati sir, he is the founder of Avysh. So what is Avysh is? It's a kind of a digital commerce platform. It is a SaaS platform on which they enable brands to provide kind of a B2B digital store. Okay, and they have an amazing concept to put forward, which separates them from the other e-commerce startups in the industry. So today's session, there is going to be a lot of learning in today's session as well, because Tejas Sati sir is going to share his experience of building Abhyash. So it's going to be an amazing session. Tune in and lot of learn from experiences of Tejas Sati sir, and I hope that you enjoy today's session as well. So without wasting further time, I'll take Tejas Sati sir in the stream and let him introduce himself to all of you. Hello
Hi
sir,
everybody.
good evening.
Hi.
Yeah, thank you for
Good
joining.
evening. Good evening, Omkar. Good evening, everybody. Yeah. So shall I get started, Omkar?
Yes, definitely sir.
Okay. So hi everybody. I'm founder of a startup by name Avysh. We are Bangalore based. Uh, we are in the B2B digital commerce space. So a quick introduction about myself. I'm fundamentally a dropout from my engineering, entrepreneurial bug. I got smitten by entrepreneurial bug very early on, right on campus. So I dropped out of my engineering, and I've had various entrepreneurial stints. I have failed. I have succeeded. I have made money. I have lost money in this last about 15, 16 years of entrepreneurial life. So prior to Avish, I had a pretty long stint in the building materials space. So we were pioneers in delivering alternates to sand using industrial waste. So I grew up in a steel city, and the disposal of slag, which is a byproduct of steel plant, is a huge problem. On the other side, the sand was becoming, a rare commodity, and the construction industry was facing a huge problem with basically, the supply of, supply of sand. In this context, we used industrial waste, came up with different products. We ran research programs in Indian Institute of Science and a couple of other research institutes, and we went ahead and delivered products for the construction industry, and we did very well. Made some uh, good wealth out of it, and I also invested in a few other technology startups. More importantly, why I'm sharing this story of the building materials stint is, while we were in the building materials business, we had a good first-hand information about how transactions happen between a brand to a distributor to a retailer to the end customer. So we had a good understanding, and we realized that the whole B2B commerce is fraught with immense challenges actually. So back in 18, 19, we put together a team, and we really dived deep into the B2B commerce, and understood a whole lot of problems firsthand, and we started building a product for the same actually. Now coming to Avish, Avish fundamentally is a SaaS platform. On this SaaS platform, we provide B2B digital, Shopify kind of B2B digital storefronts to brands. Brands could be from different verticals, be it building materials, be it electronics, mattress, steel, so on and so forth. And we give this storefronts also to their channel partners, the distributors, the dealers, the retailers. Once we give, these storefronts to these brands and the channel partners, we connect all these storefronts back to the brand, and here from the brand, one can actually, push all the information like product catalog, prices, scheme information to every channel partner in the network. And also, the channel partners can use these digital storefronts to conduct business with their remote customers. So I would like to, walk you through a small presentation, and where, you know, it will give more information about why we do what we do, the problems that we are solving, how we are enabling the brands, how we are enabling the channel partners to compete in the e-commerce slash digital commerce era. So I would like to share my screen. So I think I'm having some problems here. Okay, yeah. Is my screen visible, Omkar?
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay, okay. Yeah. So, a high-level definition: a SaaS platform for channel commerce and channel partners to manage their remote business. So, what are the problems that we are solving for any startup? It's very important, in terms of the problems that we are solving for the industry actually. So today, if you see, any brand, right? Let's take the example of in the steel, in the electronics. If any brand wants to reach the nook and corner of the country, they need channel partners. When I say channel partners, we're talking about the distributors, the dealers, and the retailers. Now, these distributors and dealers form a very vital or an important layer in the whole commerce. And this, it's a myth to say, if somebody says eliminate the middleman and directly reach the customer. Yes, one can do that, but you will have to live with a very small addressable market, and you will not be able to reach the nook and corner of the country. See, Amazon and Flipkart, with all the bells and the whistles, the e-commerce penetration in India is only about 4.5% of the overall transaction. The remaining 95% is out there, which needs to be digitized. Now, in this 95%, a lot of the trade happens through the channel partners. The channel partners today, 70% of the business the channel partners are doing, yeah, they're basically doing with their remote customers. So when I say remote customers, these are the customers who typically don't come to their physical store or their offices to buy their products. They either call up, a channel partner, or either they, send an email, or they WhatsApp, these channel partners, inquiring for a product, inquiring for prices, so on and so forth. Now, when channel partner has got about 8,000 products to sell, 10,000 products to sell, it is getting extremely difficult for the channel partners to do business with their remote customers. Now, to add to this, COVID has also increased the remote business percentage, because we all know that, during the times of COVID, social distancing, a lot of risk in going out, or also, there's a fear that, the lockdown could happen. All of these things is only increasing the remote business, in the business basket of a channel partner actually. Now, that is one major problem that we are trying to solve, and we'll show you how we are solving that problem. The other thing is, between the brand, let's take the example of Cisco. Cisco has got five major distributors, and each distributor has about 2 to 3,000 channel partners. The flow of information from Cisco to their distributors to, their sub dealers, sub dealers to the end customer. When Cisco has all in all about 18,000 products, about 20,000 products, the flow of information about the product, about the prices, about the technical specification, so on and so forth is very distorted. It is slow, and things are not happening the way it should happen. Now, in this scenario, the brands are struggling, to make sure that the information flow to the end customer. The other thing is a lot of these brands now today are opaque to what happens between the distributor and the dealer and the retailer and the end customer. Today is the era of information and real-time information. So every brand wants to know what is happening between itself and the distributor, what is happening between the distributor and the dealer to retailer to the end customer. Because only then they will be able to sharpen their marketing campaigns. They'll be able to, customize the products better, pricing better, schemes better and stuff. So a lot of brands today are opaque, or at least they have translucent view to these transactions, which is a huge problem actually. Some of the current systems like the order management, dealer management, and these have not helped us. I'll not go too deep into it because it gets a little technical. So, another thing is today every channel partner is a multi-branded channel partner, and because it's a multi-branded, every brand is fighting for the business share of the channel partner. They want to launch channel loyalty schemes, but the conventional channel loyalty schemes are very ineffective. In a scenario like this, so product Avish basically has about 4 modules. So in fact, I'll not go deep into it because it might get a little technical. So I'll explain these modules through a simple diagram that's there here. So if you see the left side diagram that is there, there is a brand and the blue dots are the channel partners. The channel partners are basically laid out in multiple tiers. Tier 1 channel partner, tier 2 channel partner, and the green dots are the end customers. So this is how, pretty much any brand would work, if they have to reach the nook and corner of the country. Now, in here, right, so what we are doing is we are giving a digital storefront to every channel partner in the whole network actually. Once this digital storefront is given to every channel partner, what happens is a leg 3 channel partner will be placing the order on the leg 2 channel partner's storefront. Leg 2 channel partner will be placing the order on leg 1 channel partner. Leg 1 channel partner will be placing the order on the brand storefront. Now brand in its centralized console can actually feed the information of the product, prices, schemes. The minute it feeds the information in the centralized console, automatically this information will sit on all the storefronts of their channel partners. So this will help minimize. We don't have to print the brochures. If this information will flow till the end customer, also this information will flow seamlessly. Now, one can ask a question: is this e-commerce actually? Because see, what has happened is Amazon and Flipkart, basically the marketplace is the Amazons and the Flipkarts are essentially the marketplaces. This is also a kind of an e-commerce, but this is not happening on a marketplace per se, but this is more like a private network where the transactions are happening. So in our opinion, since 95% of all our transactions are still have not gone digital, so this also comes under e-commerce and digital commerce, but the rules of the game is different from a marketplace. But here, it's more of a network of digital storefronts where and each storefront is being used, to do business with the remote customer. So here, essentially, what we're doing is we are empowering the brand, and we're also empowering every channel partner in the country to basically, compete in the digital commerce era. I again emphasize we are empowering small and medium enterprises, which are basically the channel partners, and also the brands to compete in the digital commerce era by a network of digital storefronts. Now, once these digital storefronts are laid out in a network like that, so pushing channel loyalty schemes becomes very, very easy. So let me give you an example. The minute we talk about loyalty, we could be going and buying, in a Marks and Spencer's outlet. we buy a shirt. There are certain which means the minute we go to the billing, we pay the money, and for every transaction that we are making, the Marks and Spencer's loyalty program is basically giving us some points. There is a wallet that is there, where our points are sitting. As and when we keep on buying in Marks and Spencer's, the wallet goes on points goes on adding in the wallet, and after 6 months or 1 year, we can redeem those points to buy more Marks and Spencer shirts, or any of the trousers and stuff. So essentially, in the B2C environment, what has happened is you transact, you you accumulate points, and you instantly redeem it. Now, in the B2B environment, this typically is not happening. In the B2B environment, the transactions happen, then the channel partners are given rewards in terms of merchandises like laptops and mobile phones, and they get it after 3 months or 6 months. Sometimes they're given credit notes after 6 months, and sometimes even 1 year also. So basically, it's a very disconnected channel loyalty programs that are happening. So what we have done in a B2B environment is, when every channel partner is buying on the storefront, upstream storefront, the transactions happen. Again, the transactions are basically based on the rules laid out. Points are getting accumulated in the wallets of the channel partner, and the channel partner can use this the points to redeem into meaningful rewards. He will not be getting the same old laptop, same old mobile phone. He can use these points to redeem against make my trip gift coupon or an Amazon gift coupon. So we have given about 350 different gift coupons that he can redeem into, or else since he's a business, he can redeem that into meaningful brand currency, and use that currency to pay back the brand. That way, he's not whatever he has earned as reward, he's flowing it back in the business. So that's the kind of loyalty schemes that we have brought in the channel commerce play, which is delighting the channel partners, because points are getting converted into meaningful rewards, and it is not going outside the system. It is coming back to the brand in terms of cash in terms of brand currency and stuff. The brand is also happy because the desired intent is met. The brand is pushing the information. It is reaching every nook and corner of the country through these storefronts, and brand is also happy. So this is something that we have revolutionized here, and the brands and the channel partners are very happy about it. Now, as I was stating in the problem, brands a lot of times don't get the information of the transaction between their leg 2 and the leg 3, leg 1 and leg 2. So when the transactions are happening on the storefront, the information about who is buying, how much are they paying, which product is doing well in which region, and what kind of customers are buying, the customer demography, all this information is reaching back the brand in terms of secondary and tertiary sales data. One, because they're getting this information, they're able to tailor the promotions and marketing schemes better, and the whole budgets are utilized well. So this is another important value propositions that we are bringing. So all of these things, essentially, if you look at it, we are digitizing everything that happens between the brands and the channel partners and the end B2B customers through a network of Shopify kind of digital storefronts per se. So, I already narrated about the storefront, the network of storefronts here. So fundamentally, what we are doing is we are giving a superior and unified customer experience for channel partners and end customers. We are making the transaction efficient in terms of cost, time, people dependency, and we are bringing in efficient processes here. We are making the brands and also the channel partners the relevant and competitive in the e-commerce era, because when they have a digital storefront, they can fight. They can basically service the remote customers better, which means they are also competitive in the e-commerce era. And also with that all the data coming in, the brands are able to take better decisions, on a real time basis and stuff. So fundamentally, this is us. We did not get here, in one go. We had to pivot from various different business models, and finally, we kind of discovered this model. With a lot of time that we spent, in the market, customers taught us a lot of things. We kept our eyes and ears open. We heard to all their problems, and we also made sure that the problems are universal. Whenever you're having a startup, it's very important to go after the problems which are deep and which are universal problems. There's no fun in solving, a problem which a small segment of the market has, or the problem which is there only in one vertical. It's very important to go after the problems which most of the vertical spaces. So we are very much relevant in almost about 80 to 90% of the B2B commerce segments. So that's what we have done. So I hope I have been able to convey what we do and why we do. So I'll take a pause here, Omkar. If you have some questions, I'm happy to take your questions, and also we can have some interactive session based on your questions actually.
Yeah, sure,
So
sir.
let
So yeah, sure. So I thought like the brand which you have created is definitely
Mhm.
making an impact in the digital commerce field. Okay. So kind of you focused on like the key metrics of having kind of a good brand. Okay. So what are the futuristic trends you will be working on with Avyas, like in achieving those future digital commerce goals? Like what is your like, opinion on that?
Yeah. So, see, there are some very important trends that we are going on. See, in fact, the whole remote buying, I always say there are three, any brand or any channel partner has three kinds of customers. One customer is a customer who walks into the physical store and buys. They're basically walk-in customers. The second customers are the ones who come online, which they basically go www.cisco.com and they try to buy online, or they try to buy through the marketplaces. So which is the online customer. The third set of customers is basically, they either call up, or they send a WhatsApp, or they send an email, I want to buy. These are not the ones who come into the physical store. These are not the ones who are going online and trying to inquire. They directly, contact either a brand, or they directly either contact the channel partner, through various mediums. So this remote buy is the biggest segment of all actually in many verticals. So be it in the building materials, in the electrical, in IT hardware. So there are many verticals where the remote buying is almost up to about 60 to 70%. So this thing one of the thing is, right now it is happening. There's a human intervention and there's a technology intervention. The human intervention is slowly going to reduce. The technology intervention is going to increase and increase and increase. So we are closely watching the remote buying patterns in our country, and not only in our country, in countries like Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia, where the problems are very similar. So we are watching these trends, and we are building solution. Basically, it's a solution for these problem statements in the remote buying. So that is one thing that we are watching very closely. The other thing that we are also watching very closely is, how WhatsApps of the world, how Facebooks of the world are empowering a lot of small businesses to go, set up their digital storefront. But unfortunately, just setting up a digital storefront and not being connected to the brand is a no-go. So we're closely watching how the large companies are basically addressing this problem. But in our opinion, they're way behind compared to our thought process in this segment actually. So that's how I would answer your question, Omkar.
Wonderful answer, sir. I got like there were a lot of learnings, there are a lot of points to pick up in this insightful information which you shared. So, like you
Hmm.
mentioned, you were a dropout, okay, from Manipal.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so why did you like decide to drop out? What was the main reason for your dropout, and how like this reason helped you in building Avyas?
Yeah, see, the two reasons why I dropped out. See, one is uh, I was not interested in my academics. I think when I was a bright student. I went to Manipal Institute of Technology. I had a merit seat. I think my schooling and 11th and 12th foundation and was very strong. I think I had a very different perspective about going to a professional course. So when I actually started, attending classes and the subjects, I was not very keen if that is how I really wanted to learn or how I wanted to build my competency actually. So somewhere, the disconnect became very strong with the academic world. So, I wanted to really do a lot of trial and error, and I wanted to discover what my passions were and stuff. So there was a phase where I was lost also. I was not able to find my way. So that showed up on my academic performance. But after some point I realized on the entrepreneurial journey is where the calling is, and I started looking out for problem statements in various industries. So I went after a problem. Basically, back then it was handicrafts, and uh, we realized that a lot of handicrafts today are not being globalized because uh, the products that our artisans are making are not world class, but the skill set is world class. But end of the day, the designs, the packaging, the way it is sold is not world class. So we globalized the products or products of the five artisan clusters, took them from rural India to Australia, San Francisco, Israel, Maldives, Mauritius, and we did well. So while I was one of the reasons I had to drop out was, in fact, I got selected for a industry delegation that was going to Australia, and it was basically clashing with my exams. I said, I think going to Australia with as a part of the government delegation is more important than my marks card. I would learn more from that kind of an expedition actually. So I think there was a bit of rebel in me also. I think the rebel in me is still there. Although all these things led me to drop out, but got hopped onto an entrepreneurial journey, and I think there's no stopping. There's no looking back after that actually. So that's how things started for me actually.
Definitely. So the decision you took, like when you dropped out, like it was you were sure, like you wanted to enter into entrepreneurship, right? Because entrepreneurship is just such a addictive thing. Like once you get into it, like you won't get your way out until you do something like which is impactful and which powers change. Okay, and this is like that is what you did. Like you kind of started like as you said, like the handicraft industry, and then you also went into like investing, and like I saw your profile. So there are two things, specialities written about you. Like one is like transforming compelling business plans to sustainable business and then scaling up, and second is investments in early startups or companies. So like how like have invest like why did you choose like to go into the investment line, like investing in startups? Like why do you think like investing would really help you out in the near future?
Yeah, see, going back, when I was your age, 24, 25, one of the things that I lacked then was endurance, actually. So I always thought, I should go into a space, with a business plan, build a business, scale it, and once I was also losing interest in what I was doing very fast. So definitely, I kind of brought, the handicrafts venture into a logical state and handed over the business to my co-founders. And, I was edgy. I was impatient, and, then I was really looking for the next problem to solve. So back then in 2007, 2008 timeframe, nobody knew what angel investment was. The minute you say angel investment, people would ask, they had to really Google and find out on only US related content came up actually. So because of some of the circles that I moved in, basically we had access to a lot of good product companies, technology product companies, who showed a lot of promise on one side because of the because of the circles that I was moving in, and also on the other side we said, hey, why don't we go find high net worth individuals who have a lot of money and who would want to deploy some of their monies in these startups, and and ride the wave, because back then it was a lot of product companies emerging out of India, but product companies building for the US market and the European market, not for the Indian market. So I put together a team of about 5 people, who had cross-functional expertise, people, who had experience who had 20, 25 years of experience. My age was 26, 27. They had experience of my age actually. Yeah. So I put together a team, excited them, saying that, hey, you know what, India is becoming the technology hub, startup hub. There's a lot of good companies emerging here. You have so much of experience. Why don't you impart your experience and expertise into these companies and take companies from infancy to growth stage? On the other side, I told them, hey, all of you have wealthy friends. Why don't we go talk to your wealthy friends to, put money in these companies? So we were one of the first quasi-angel fund, I must say, wherein we raised money, we deployed money in a few startups, took them from infancy to growth stage, and also made some good exits in those companies. But naturally, our next step was to put up a VC fund. But 2009-10 was a bad financial, was a bad time, because the global meltdown happened. We couldn't we couldn't become a VC because we were not able to raise money then. And then once you're an entrepreneur, you're always an entrepreneur. Then I was going. I really wanted the next challenge in my life. That's when building materials and alternates to building materials kicked in actually. So I think at the fag end of my second entrepreneurial stint, endurance is something that I started understanding. Endurance. I started understanding that you got to stick to something for at least about 7, 8, 10 years for you to really make an impact. You got to go through the highs and lows. You can't just fly when there are when there is a high, and you can't just run away when there is a low. I think that kind of character building as an entrepreneur happened at the fag end of the two good stints. And I got into building materials, and I think we did some good job even in the building material space.
So do you think, like, all these startups which you started and you exited, like what did those startups teach you in life? What was your important learnings? What were your key takeaways from those startups?
Oh, I think some of the things that I might say may sound like a cliche, but fundamentally, you got to love the problem statement actually. You should say, man, this problem is sexy enough to go solve it actually. I think you have to fall in love with the problem and also hate the problem. It's like you got to like the problem, because that is where the opportunity lies, and you should slowly start hating the problem because you want to solve that problem. So I think that problem solution is one very, very important thing. The other thing is, in all of these things, what I learned is what impact you're making on the lives of customers. I think that's the biggest takeaway actually. See, fundraising, being covered on your story, tech trends, economic times, all those things mean nothing if your customer is talking good thing about you, and if you have made an impact in his or her life on their business, and they're talking good about you. That's the most important bottom line. The third thing which I've learned is this is more important than your egos and your personality and stuff. You have to be purpose driven, and there's no other way of actually aligning a team of people, aligning the investors, aligning the vendors, because purpose is the king. It's not the founders, it's not the investors, it's not anybody else. Purpose is paramount. That's something that I have learned. And I think it's very important to, stick to a journey for a while, because see, you never get the first right. First iteration is always a bullshit thing that you'll be doing. You go take something to the market, and the market is going to laugh at you. You got to learn from, got to understand why the market is laughing at you, because there has a lot of insight. There is a lot of insight out there, and I think you got to go back to the drawing board and really look at your assumptions about problem solutions. Will the customer pay or not, and is this meaningful enough and stuff. The second time is when you get it right to the extent of about 60 to 70%, but still it is not good enough. Usually, what I've learned is when you go back, with the third iteration, is actually you get the right product, the product market fit, and all of those things. So you got to ensure that you don't run out of resources till the third iteration, because there's nothing like a bad idea, there's nothing like a bad market. It's just that you got to keep on aligning to find that right product market fit, and at least it will take a few iterations. So in my case, it is I feel it is always the third time we have got it right, actually. So being able to endure that phase is very, very important. And yeah, these are some of the fundamental things that we have learned. Over to you, Omkar.
Beautiful, beautiful, sir. And the way you summed it up, like it was kind of very much inspiring as well. Like the experiences you had in the past, these experiences are actually helping you out in building your own startup right now. So, like, let's talk about like these were the things were like we wanted to know, but also in any journey you take in life, there are certain challenges which you face. Okay, so what were your challenges while building your startups? Okay, talking about Avysh. Okay, right now you are representing your current startup. So what were the challenges when you faced initially while like the ideation process of Avysh, and like how was your journey? Like what was your mindset which you had when you actually started it?
Yeah, the first challenge is, actually, if you ask me, there is not even a single day that goes by without a challenge. Challenges are, an integral part of an entrepreneur's life, be it on the technology front, business building front, talent acquisition, capital care side. Challenges are everywhere. So some challenges are manageable, some challenges are daunting, they overwhelm you. So challenges are everywhere, and it's an everyday affair. But some of the noteworthy challenges were, I think it has been with some of the bad hires that we made in the initial days. There was a time, there was a time when we launched a product, and the product did well. Basically, it was like a proof of concept. We had presumed that there are some problems in the market. We quickly put together a product, and we went and tested. It was a hypothesis with the product, with a set of customers, and the customers were very happy about it. And one of the engineering guys stole the whole code, stole the whole data, and he blackmailed us. Okay, he blackmailed us, saying that if you don't give 50% ownership in the company, I'm walking away with this code. And he was one of the employees, one of the first few employees to whom we were paying salaries. Of course, we had told them that we'll give him some stock options at an appropriate time, but he he stole the whole code. So all of a sudden, on one day when we found success, and we said, hey, what, we need to build on top of this. Now it's time to go to a minimum viable product mode. And suddenly we didn't have a single line of code that was written for close to about 5 months. We didn't have a single. Everything vaporized, actually. So that's one challenge which we faced. very badly, and it put us in a uncomfortable situation. So that's one of the challenges. Of course, we have also had challenges with some investors. There was a time when we were about to close a deal with one of the investors who flew down from Hong Kong, and who was right, she was about to write a fat check, and we were all quite excited about it. And on the day he was supposed to write a fat check, we had a meeting that went on for about 7 long hours, and he backed out. So yeah, and that put a lot of stress on the finances of the company, and we had to realign and stuff. So that was another problem. So there are plenty of these. But in my opinion, if we have to compartmentalize the problems, I think people related, ego related are always the biggest problems, in any setup. So some entrepreneurs are vocal about it, some are not. Ensuring that we leave our egos aside, we leave our past aside, we leave our past laurels aside, unlearn ourselves, uh, be, go into the venture with a fresh perspective, as if you're just out of college, and you have the zeal and you have the josh to uh, achieve something. That fresh thinking, leaving aside all the past laurels, I think that's always a very challenging situation. Very few people get it, and when some people don't get it, they can be really problem in the wrong, in a very wrong places actually. So I think people related is one of the biggest issues that I think we have faced. The other thing is, of course, the capital related, customer related. These are all transactional things which is coming and going. We have figured out ways of managing it. But some things which are always hard to manage are the people related challenges of that. Over to you.
Yeah. I totally agree with you, sir. Like dealing with the people is the biggest challenge in any field, I think, because these people are going to be your customers or your consumers in some way, and they are going to like some people are going to love what you do, and some people would not like agree with the things you are doing. So dealing with such people and making them realize why you should love our product is kind of the biggest challenge any e-commerce founder would face, because there are a lot of like startup companies like who are into e-commerce and they are performing really well. Okay, so the question here is like, why should we choose you in like place of them? And if you can answer this question pretty well, I think like any like the customer base would like definitely increase if you give this answer to the people who are using your product or your service. Okay, and like wonderful shares in that question. Okay, so if say I'm a student and I want to start my own e-commerce startup, like what is the like advice you want to give to students like us, like who are like planning to start in the field, e-commerce field? Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the advice that I give anybody when it comes to starting in the e-commerce space is, see, e-commerce today has got a very broad meaning to it and a broad perspective to it. So there was a time when the minute you say e-commerce, it was all about marketplace. One side bringing the suppliers, on the other side, bringing the buyers. You aggregating the supply, aggregating the demand, and you being the marketplace. Now, think beyond that. Think beyond that, because that's just not the be all and end all of e-commerce. So a marketplace model is not the be all and end all. If you want to get into, a marketplace kind of a business model, please know one thing: it's a very capital intensive. If you don't have the backing of the investors, it's extremely difficult to pull off, a business model in a marketplace kind of a scenario actually. So one of the advice that I would give to any wannabe entrepreneur in the e-commerce space, the definition of e-commerce has become very large. As I was telling you in the initial part of the presentation, today a lot of companies want to sell to their remote customers, and that is also e-commerce. That's also digital commerce. So there are many things which you can do here in this space in a capital efficient way. You don't need the kind of money that a Flipkart raised, or any of the Snapdeal raised, or any of these Lenskart raised. you can do with a smaller money. So look at e-commerce from a fresh perspective and from a broader perspective, because the definition has really changed. A lot of media may not talk about it, uh, but yes, I think the opportunity there are many problems that you can go after actually.
Yeah, wonderful. And thanks for sharing that. So last two, three questions before we wrap up this session. Okay, so the one question which I have for you is like you told me like you had a set of challenges, separate set of challenges. So in every journey of an entrepreneur, there are few support who supported that person, and then he like became what he wanted to become. Okay, so in your journey up till now, who were your biggest supporters, the people who supported you and backed you up like with all the decisions you took in?
Yeah, I think see, the two ways I can answer this. I can name a few people, and I can name a few people and answer this question. So it could be my wife, it could be some of my co-founders, it could be a couple of my friends. But I think more than who supported you, and I think that's part of the question. I think we need to really delve into is why do they support you actually? See, as far as you're really true to your purpose, as far as you're really true to your, and you have a few people where you can socialize your problem whenever there's a problem. If you can, if you have built your support system in such a way that you can socialize the problem, and whenever you go and socialize the problem, if you are genuine about the problem, and if you really show the conviction that you want to solve the problem, as far as the genuinity is there, the people who support you, the names could keep changing, but you will get the support. End of it. You will get the support. So the key thing here is, I think fundamentally you have to be so genuine about your purpose of, building this company, delivering value to your customers, value to your team members, value to your investors. You got to be so genuine with it. And also, it's very important for you to have for you to have a group of people where you can socialize, where you can just open up and say, you know what, I'm in this mess, and how can I get out of this mess? I don't know how to get out of this mess. You should be in a position to go, simply say, I'm in problem. I don't know how to get out of this problem, but I want to get out of this problem. So you need to have a few people to whom you can go and with whom you can confide. So I think that those support mechanism, if you can build for yourself, and also if you are if you are part of their support mechanism, and if the genuinity is there, the support comes, but the names could keep changing. So that's how I would answer this actually.
Wonderful. So there goes the last question for the day. Okay, so like before we end the live stream, I wanted to ask you what are some of the words of motivation you like want to give to the upcoming entrepreneurs who are starting up like their e-commerce journey?
Uh, Hey, look for capital efficient models, especially in the e-commerce space. Look for capital efficient models is something that I would say. Second thing is, the definition of e-commerce has changed. Have a broader perspective and look for newer problems under the e-commerce banner is what I would say. Third thing, uh, GMV is not the metric. Okay, you got to have really some deep value that you deliver to your customers. I think that's very important. Above all, I'll say it's all about nuts, guts, and glory.
Wonderful, wonderful. And thank you so much, Tejas sir, for doing this for us for Industry Inspire Talk. I hope that this session is being recorded and also will posted. So the people who will watch it will always get valuable information and insights from this session. And thank you so much for your time, for your knowledge, and for sharing your real life experiences, real life stories on this platform. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this talk with me. Yeah, so thank you so much once again.
Thank you, Omkar, and I really appreciate the kind of questions that you were asking. It's been a pleasure to share the share my experiences, and if this can help even just one entrepreneur, I think I believe that the time is well spent actually.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, and I had an amazing time with you, sir. And all the very best for your journey with
Thank you,
Avyas.
Anshul.
Okay, I hope that you
Thank you.
like excel in your startup career as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Same to you.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you all for joining day 4 of Industry Inspire Talk. Like Entre-Summit brought to you by Industry Inspire Talk. So, like giving you an update about tomorrow's session. Tomorrow's session is going to be delivered by Ram Ray. So he is kind of an healthcare entrepreneur. He is the CEO of Visita Healthcare. So day 5 is going to be amazing as well. So do join tomorrow as well for this session, uh, like where we invite successful entrepreneurs from the industry. And like just giving an update, day 2 was not like we planned to do day 2 on 6th of April, but it could not happen because our speaker was not feeling well. So that day 2 is going to be taken on 10th of April. So the timing would be same 5 to 6 p.m. So do join both the sessions. So and the people who have been joining us from the past 2 sessions and also this particular session, I want to thank you all for joining, and I hope that this session would help you in some way in like starting your entrepreneurial journey, or maybe getting that knowledge about various sectors in which you need to start your own business. And yeah, so yeah, so before we go, I want to thank our event partners. So yeah, thank you all. Like these are our event partners: Skillship Foundation, Jigsaw Minds, Give Me Certificate, Nerd for Tech, Codeflow, Devintech, Jaira Decos, and Startup Grind Bhubaneswar. So I want to thank you all for like partnering with us for this event on the summit, and we are grateful to you for doing this for us. Also, like I want to also tell you that Jaira Decos session, like Jaira Decos is organizing a 2-day interview prep boot camp. So maybe you can check it out. I'm giving the link to the boot camp in the comment section and also in the live chat. So maybe you can check it out. So I'm just giving the link. So here's the link to like register for the boot camp. So just register for it. It's an amazing session to look after. So just register for it and get benefited. And thank you all for joining day 4. I hope you enjoyed it and have a nice day.